about Cuenca that I saw and that I learned was wonderful. I was smart enough to know I couldn't do it myself. I needed help. I needed help through an attorney to obtain permanent visas, permanent residency, cedula, and all of that. I know you can do it on your own. People have told me, why waste money on an attorney? But to me, it was worth it to hire an attorney. She led me every step of the way. She said, this is what you need, this is what you need, this is what you need. Meet me here, it was a done deal. Meet me there, it was a done deal. So it was worth it. I hired a shipper. Same thing. She told me what to do, how to do it, and the products that I wanted to ship from my home in Cleveland, Ohio to my new home in Cuenca, Ecuador, left my door in Cleveland and were delivered right here in this house in Cuenca, Ecuador. Door to door, no problem. And I learned about the attorney and the shipper when I came here for my look-see in February 2012. I went to meet friends. Let me go back. I went to a gringo meeting group and met people who have since become my friends. They were strangers at the time. But I asked for recommendations and they were kind enough to supply names of attorneys and shippers, and so I used them. But most importantly, I knew that I needed help with housing. And while I was still in the States, I came across your websites, and I believed that you could help me. I would need help from someone on the ground, someone local, someone who could deal with Ecuadorians. And so while I was still in the States, I contacted you and explained that I would be ever so grateful if you would be able to help me. Once I arrived, I had a studio apartment rental for the month of September. So you came to get me, and our first meeting was just a pleasant lunch, a shared lunch between friends. We talked, I got to know both of you, you got to know me, what was important to me, my values, I learned your values. From there, our next meeting was to fill out a questionnaire that you had that would let you know exactly what I was looking for. It permitted me to make some comments on what I wanted. And then you started showing me properties.
Well, I'd like to jump in right there.
Yes.
Because are interested in knowing about retirement and Social Security. You mentioned earlier that you were retired Social Security, and they want to know, is this, is it possible to make it happen here in Cuenca? And so I just want to ask you, like, can you see the background of the house, and where are you? Right, where are we right now? Is this?
We're in Cuenca, Ecuador. I'm in a southwest neighborhood, a very typical Ecuadorian neighborhood. I'm on a small side street surrounded by Ecuadorians. I walk a few blocks to the bus, and the bus gets me anywhere within Cuenca that I want to go.
Okay, so this is your house right here.
This is my house, yes.
It's not our office or anything
No,
like that? Okay.
no, I rent this house.
Okay.
I do not own, I rent.
Okay, and you're in an Ecuadorian neighborhood, and so that kind of fits in with, what you said earlier about you didn't want to just see the tourist side of Cuenca. You wanted to see what it was actually like to live here on a, let's just call it on a locally based level.
Yes.
It's interesting that you're in an Ecuadorian neighborhood and you do things like take the bus, and that you're retired Social Security, and yet you have a really nice home here. I think you've got a really nice home, and it looks very comfortable, and you seem comfortable.
I am very
in the neighborhood.
Yes.
What is that like? How long have you been here in the house?
In the house, the lease started October 1st. Today is February
5 months.
17th or February 20th. What is the date today?
18th, yeah.
Okay, February 18th. So not quite 5 months. And during that time, the house came unfurnished, and I had an Ecuadorian assistant, an Ecuadorian helpmate to furnish the home, set up my internet, set up my television, etc. I really feel you can't do it alone. You need the help of people on the ground here in Cuenca And I think the help of Ecuadorians is better than the help of some gringo you might meet on the street. You are an exception. You have been here, you are settled. So I was able to turn to you for what I consider to be Ecuadorian help.
Absolutely.
And let me go back to the Social Security issue. The United States will deposit your Social Security check in banks throughout the world, if that is your choice to do so. If you just go to the Social Security website, you can see all of the countries that they will send your checks to. The checks are deposited directly into your bank in that country. I think it's just the communist bloc that they won't send checks to.
That's good, useful information. And a lot of people want to know.
Really?
Now, for me, I do things a bit differently. I have a Schwab account, Charles Schwab account in the U.S. All of my retirement income, Social Security and other income, is deposited into that Schwab account. They have given to me a Schwab debit card. So I go to any ATM that's here and I withdraw money. And that's how I pay to live here.
Now, is that a U.S. Schwab?
That's a U.S. Schwab.
So I think it's a great success story, and I just find that you're a little bit adventurous. I mean, obviously you know, you travel the states in a motorhome, which is I feel
neat.
adventurous to begin with. So and so I see that translates into you know, experimenting or looking into or actually moving into an Ecuadorian neighborhood, which is not, there's a little bit of that, but it's not super common. So I just wanted to talk a little bit more about that.
Of course,
I
yes.
mean, was there any uneasiness at all about that at first?
No, none at all for me. Now, every person is different.
Exactly.
I knew I didn't want to stay in the United States. I needed to leave the United States. I had no trepidation at all about coming here to Cuenca.
So you were going to be alone in the States, basically, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
And so you wanted to have fun and be alone, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Live my lifestyle.
Are there any safety concerns? How do you feel about, is the house, do you feel like it's safe? Or?
Absolutely, yes. Right next door to me, my next door neighbors are a family, an Ecuadorian family, again, no English. The woman, Teresa, is the sister of my landlord, Dolores. So it's a family complex.
You know, this is an excellent point. I'm sorry to jump in. So you're surrounded by the family.
Absolutely, yes.
And so you don't feel like you need an armed guard,
No.
security guard 24/7. The family's all right here.
Exactly.
And they're watching out. It's the buddy system.
They are watching out, yes.
Yeah.
They know when I leave, they know when I come, they greet me. As a matter of fact, I had gone on a 2-day trip. I was gone for 2 days. They were very worried. They were so worried they called the woman who helped me furnish this house to come and see where I was.
Now,
I didn't know they would be
It's
so
important to
concerned.
mention that this is actually typical. This is not an exception or once in a while. This is the way it is here. I just think it's so important to stress that because there's somewhat of a fear factor, I think, that's maybe not talked about very much. But people, we know it because people ask for security buildings and security guard and this and that.
Exactly.
And you know,
Yes.
to each his own, everyone has a comfort level, but we want to explain why you don't have that fear, and that's part of it.
Yes.
Although part of it is also your personality. In a practical sense, you're protected.
I'm protected when I'm here at home, and I have no fears at all taking the bus anywhere. When I go out, it's always to meet with friends. If it's during the day, I'm more than happy to be by myself, and I am many, many times by myself. No fears, no apprehensions. I'm perfectly comfortable walking anywhere in the city. In the evening, I always make sure that I'm with friends, just like you would at home. Exercise common sense.
Yes. How often do you get on the bus in a week? How many times a week do you get on the bus?
Maybe 5,
That much? You got us beat?
because it's going and coming.
Oh, okay.
So about 5 times a week, maybe.
I'm
Sometimes.
being facetious. I mean,
I know.
we get on the bus 3-4 times in one
This
day.
is a very pedestrian community.
Absolutely.
Because the bus gets me everywhere I want to go
You can
throughout
go
the
anywhere
city.
with a bus. And
Absolutely. You can get off one bus and get on another. And because I am over 65, my bus fare is 12 cents.
yeah, that's a fair price. You're retired, you know, you're supposed to enjoy yourself.
Exactly. Now, if it's at night and dark and I've been downtown enjoying free symphony concerts or plays or jazz society or whatever, I do take taxis home.
So
I don't take the bus at night. I take taxis.